the big response that you want to hear more about is how to stay motivated even when you're feeling like you lack motivation. This was the biggest one, okay? And specifically, the people who wrote this one, they said that they wanted more motivation to do the things that they know they should do. Like, that was the verbatim of like 10 different survey responses. And that makes me think, well, why would you want to do the things that you should do, right? There's two things. Your shoulds are very different than your musts. Okay? And that's a Tony Robbins thing. And I'll say it again because this really changed the way that I think about things. The things that you should do, you're not going to be nearly as compelled to make progress or work on those things as you are the things that you know you must do. You have to turn your shoulds into musts. Okay? And Tony Robbins had a quote where he said, you know, if you say you should do this, you should do that, you should get around to this, you should lose weight, you should stop smoking, then all you're really doing is you're just shoulding yourself over and over, right? You're saying I should do this when really the only time that you're going to make change, the only time that you're going to do the things that you know you must do is when you turn these things that you should do into things that you must do. And I got away from saying I have to do this. I need to do this thing. I got around to not using that language anymore. And the reason being, when you say things like, I need to get to work, I need to lose weight, I need to become healthier, I need to start eating better. What if you shifted the language there from I need to do this, I have to do this? What if you simply shifted the language from I have to do this or I need to do this to I get to do this? I get to wake up early this morning to work on my business and to host this broadcast for you to answer your most burning questions. I get to be on a podcast later where I get to reach however many people are going to watch that podcast. I get to go to the gym so that I can work out my body, so that I can feel better, so that I can have more energy. I get to eat healthier. I get to become a non-smoker. Whatever your goal is, the language around it alone will help you to spark motivation. Because try it. Think of something that in your mind you've said, I have to do this, I have to get around this, and see how it makes you feel when you change that language from I have to, to I get to. Try it right now. No one can hear you. Don't worry. All right? You're not going to sound weird. I've stopped worrying about sounding weird a long time ago, right? And you probably know that if you listen to these broadcasts. But simply listen to the way that notice the way that you feel when you shift your language to I get to do this. Okay? And really, when it comes to motivation, making something a must do comes down to two things. We as human beings are motivated to do things that either brings us pleasure or that helps us to avoid pain. So we smoke the cigarette because in the moment, it allows us to deeply breathe. It allows us to relax. It allows us to get that oral fixation that so many smokers want, but it also helps them to get away from the pain of thinking about whatever they were thinking about before they lit the cigarette, right? But what they failed to conceptualize is the long-term pain if they continue to smoke that cigarette for 30 years. Probably not the same cigarette, but many packs of them. Think about this. I want you to think about the thing that you know you should do. I want you to think about the activities that you want to get around to and that you get to get around to that will help to bring you closer to your goals. Think about those activities right now. And I want you to ask yourself, by taking action on these things or by moving in the direction of this area of your life that you want to improve in or change, or even a relationship that you want to get out of maybe, or maybe you want to find one. Okay, I want you to think about whatever it is you want, the activities that will lead you there. And then I want you to ask yourself, what will your life look like 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now? if you begin taking the actions that will lead you to this result. If you began going to the gym, if you began having one great meal a day that might consist of a salad, or it might consist of something that your body truly wants versus the pot pie or the French fries or whatever else it might be. What will your life look like 3 to 5 years from now when you get to do these actions that will lead you to this result? And now let me ask you this question. I want you to imagine that you continue doing this habit that you're not too proud of. I want you to continue to think about not taking action and simply standing on the sidelines for another 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, still smoking the cigarettes, still eating the bad food, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. You're probably thinking, no, I don't want this reality, right? I don't want cancer. I don't want this bad relationship. I don't want this overweight and obese body that I'm not happy with. Think of if you continued on this same path you're on now for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And if things are going great for you, that might be a great thing because you probably have a direction and you've probably shifted your language from I have to do this, I need to do this, to I get to do this. But if you currently partake in habits that steal your joy, habits that are leading you down this road of destruction, then 30 years from now, your life's not looking too great. So when it comes to this motivation to do what's right that a lot of you have asked about, it's simply a matter of projecting ahead what your life will look like when you do this thing that you know you should do. It's projecting ahead to the reality where you continue to do what it is you're doing right now, seeking short-term pleasure, but in the long run, creating long-term pain and misery and frustration. And I think the big thing is it really comes down to why you want what it is you want. And by the way, if you don't know what you want, that was kind of a prerequisite for this question. You got to have an idea. If you don't have goals, then your goals are simply survival. Pay the bills, eat whatever food's in front of me, right? Spend time around the people I've always known. Don't lose those people, right? So you need to have a goal in order to be motivated to do anything. And I think the big question comes down to what is your reason why you want these things in your life? What's the reason why you created this goal in your first place?